everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I've got a tag video for you. I was tagged by the lovely Brenda from Moody Boo, the channel Moody Boo. If you don't know who she is, she's a bit of a Fragcom veteran, so go and check her out. I'll link her channel below. She tagged me on this very original tag idea, and it's called Show Us Your Spritz. And there are 9 fragrances in this tag video, and I shall start with the first one. So first one is Unicorns Are Real, the perfume you had to chase the longest to acquire. So that one was quite easy for me, and it was Iris Ganache. So it started off with me hearing about it in Fragcom Facebook groups, and eventually managed, after about a year of hearing amazing things, and this was before it was discontinued, I heard about it and I managed to eventually track down a decant from someone and fell in love with the decant. Ended up tracking down more decants, but by this time the fragrance was definitely discontinued and you couldn't get it anywhere. Very, very rarely did it come up on eBay at very, very expensive prices. So it was one of those things that I never thought I was going to own a full bottle of. So I really was careful with my decants. Very, very sparingly, very special occasions only, because I love it, and I'll tell you why. It's just a very rich and beautiful iris vanilla, slightly woody, a bit of spice, a little bit of cinnamon on the top there, and a kind of molten white chocolate accord. But it's not too sweet, and it has translucency, and it has lots of development on the skin that stops it being boring. So it's everything I want in a fragrance, and I loved it so much. And then Guerlain said they were going to reissue it. They changed the bottle, so it went from being in those rectangular bottles, and you could only get it in a B bottle, and you could only get it in the Guerlain boutique in Paris. That was the only way you can get it, and they had a very limited amount of stock. Long story short, they had a little bit left in one vat in the store, and there's probably enough for one bottle. Someone on one of the Guerlain groups on Facebook, the Honeybees and Guerlainophiles group, someone had posted there's just a little bit left at the end of the day in the store. And luckily, a lovely honeybee from that group agreed to go to the store for me and get this bottle filled, or fill a bottle for me, and I chose the purple one. And they posted it to me. They went there first thing so that no one else could buy the last of the juice from that particular batch. And then it was months and months and months before they finally had more juice. And you can still only get it in Paris. You can only get Iris Ganache in Paris, and you can't ask them to post it to you unless you are one of their top dog, big bollocks customers who are always spending loads of money. They will probably go out of their way for you. But if you're like me, then they will not post it to you. You have to physically go to the store and get it. And I absolutely love it, and that's why I treasure it so much. I did split the bottle. I sold quite a lot of decants simply to cover the cost, because it was very expensive as well. It was over €300 for the bottle. But it's my unicorn, and I love it. The next one is called House of the Rising Scent, a new perfume house you've discovered and are loving. That was another one that was quite easy for me, because it is, the company's called Centauri, and the person behind this brand, the brand owner, is Peter Carter. You will all know him from the YouTube channel Fragrance View. The lovely Peter basically did everything. He created the brand, he designed the bottles, he obviously created the perfume. Everything is Peter, and I love what he's done. And I've tried now, I tried Gaia and I tried Dendera. Gaia wasn't quite me, maybe a bit too green for my taste, but I loved it still. It was really nice, just not quite my taste. Dendera I absolutely loved. I've just done a spray here. It's dry, spicy, woody, and it dries down to a beautiful, slightly sweetened amber. It's quite smoky, very incensey, but very wearable. And actually I got an unsolicited compliment wearing this one, so it's really gorgeous. So I'm loving what Peter's doing. I love the aesthetics he's creating with these bottles. And the next one out is going to be called Proxima. I've tried the pre-reformulated version. He slightly reformulated it since, but the sample I've got is really nice, very citrusy. The bottle is stunning. It's a blue, like a sapphire blue. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm sure you can imagine that, but in a royal blue. Loving what he's doing. Can't wait to see what he comes out with in the future. So house that I'm considering, the House of the Rising Sun, is Centauri. The next is Heart the Hype. Perfume where you agree with the hyperbole. Is that how you say it? Hyperbole. Hyperbole. Not entirely sure. Anyway, we know what it means. It means hype. So what has been hyped? Loads of things have been hyped over the years. But one that's been brought up recently by George from the Fragrance Apprentice as a bit of a joke and a meme thing, started with Miami Cuddles, with him saying, let's talk about Aqua Amara. And Aqua Amara got a lot of hype going back a couple of years. Everyone was hyping it up as the best, most amazing summer fragrance that lasts forever and projects really well, and it's really gorgeous and fresh. Actually, I completely go for the hype. I believe the hype because it's true. Dan has a bottle, sometimes he lends it to me, I wear it, I've reviewed it, I thought the performance was outstanding and I really like the way it smells. It's primarily a very rich mandarin scent. The aqua element of it, the marine element of it is actually understated. It's not too heavy like it is in, say, Issey Miyake, which bothers me. I don't generally like aquatic or ozonic scents. But because it's so underplayed in Aqua Amara, I actually really like it. I think it's an interesting fragrance with fantastic development. It's not linear and it lasts really, really well. So I am completely buying the hype on Aqua Amara, and I'm also hanging on to that hype and I'm hyping it. So there you go. Next up, Renounce the Ounce. Perfume where you disagree with the hype. So there's a few that I came up with, but I've settled on Club de Nuit Intense Man. That got so much hype for being the best cheap alternative to Aventus. And I never liked it and I never got it. Back when I was going out with Dan, I had to smell a lot of Aventus clones all the time. He just had a ton of Aventus clones. And Club de Nuit Intense Man, I honestly really don't like it. The opening of that fragrance is actually foul in my opinion. It's something to do with, I'm not sure if it's a patchouli or if there's some kind of strange burnt wood note in there. The first half an hour of that fragrance is unbearable. I'm not going to deny that if you have patience, it gets a lot better. But for me personally, the first half an hour or so is intolerable and I just do not get the hype. And I'm sorry, that might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm sticking with it. I don't like it. So there. Next up, Love is Blind Buying. Best blind buy, whether recent or overall. Okay, I've gone for most recent successful blind buy, and that is Elie Saab's Essence No. 1 Rose. I am absolutely loving this. I've only had it less than 2 weeks, much less than 2 weeks, and look at the dent I've put in it. And that's because I keep spraying it because I love it so much. And It's just a very, very rich rose that seems to get sweeter on my skin as it dries down, and I just get tiny hints of cedar, benzoin, labdanum, something slightly ambery, but mostly it's all about the rose, and it's a really, really gorgeous rose in my opinion. I'm really loving it. So that was an absolute blind buy. I did not know what it smelled like. I've been curious about it for well over a year now, never got the chance to try it. So when I saw it going cheap on eBay, I jumped at the chance, and really happy I did. So very successful blind buy right there with Elie Saab's Essence No. 1 Rose. Crystal Baller. What future purchase or delivery are you most anticipated and excited about? Well, next on my buy list, and I've been wanting this for a little while now, and it's Whispers in the Library by Maison Margiela. So I was kindly sent a decant by the lovely Lizzie from the channel Rose and Jones, and she sent me a few decants of different things, and one of them was Whispers in the Library. And when I first sprayed it, I didn't fall in love instantly, because it's kind of a rich, slightly spicy, not boozy exactly, but thick kind of spicy, almost tonkery smell from first spray. But as it dries down, it just gets more and more beautiful. For the most part, it's the most gorgeous vanilla scent. Vanilla and woods that's not too sweet. It's really, really expensive smelling to my nose. Absolutely beautiful, and lasts really well on my skin. So I got through the decant very quickly, and it's my next purchase, hopefully. I haven't ordered it yet, because I need to sell a few things. I've got too many things now. So once I've sold a few bits, I'm going to let payday come round, and then I will probably buy Whispers in the Library. That's the one I'm most excited about at the moment. Next one is called I Take It Rare. The perfume you have that very few others would have. So I had a couple for this, and I'm not entirely sure which one to go for. So I'm going to give you both and cheat. I would guess this might be rarer now. This is by Woman from Dolce & Gabanna. This was a gift from Dan. Dan, Mr. Smelly, found this on eBay for a good price, and he gifted it to me. It doesn't smell quite right. I think the top notes have gone off. It's got a bit of a celery note to it now, but a very sought after rare perfume now by Woman. But the other one I have is Midnight in Paris, with the ring light reflected in the bottle. But this is the eau de parfum, so that makes it a lot more rare. Eau de parfum is much harder to come by, and you will pay a lot more for it. I don't think there's actually much in it between the eau de parfum and the eau de toilette. However, that is the eau de parfum. I'll see if you can see it to prove it. I don't know if it will sort of focus well enough. Anywho, and this was also a gift from Dan. So Dan has given me a couple of unicorns there, but sorry I couldn't choose one. I chose to do both because I can, because it's my channel and I'll do what I want. And I know Brenda loves a rebel because she kind of just said so in her video. So next one, I am stuck on Band-Aid. If you could create a perfume for your favourite band or singer, what would it be called, and what would the top 2 or 3 notes be? So I decided to go for Kelly Jones, the singer of Stereophonics, one of my favourite bands since forever. I love the Stereophonics. And I looked up what does he wear, and I found an article where he said he doesn't like aftershaves because they remind him of being young and trying to pull. So he likes expensive lotions and body products that make him smell nice. So I have decided to create him a fragrance called Local Boy. So one of their bigger songs is called Local Boy in the Photograph, and this fragrance smells of leather, almond and incense. I wanted to get away from anything obviously aftershavey, so that's why I've gone for leather, almond, incense, and white florals. So it's not going to smell like anything he would have smelled growing up. out in the pubs and the clubs, etc. It's going to be very unique leather to go with his leather jacket, and it's very sexy and masculine, but counteracted by white florals and almond, which will add a little bit of sweetness but in a unique way. And then the incense, because incense is, again, it's kind of sexy, maybe a little bit reminiscent of the smoke of drugs or shisha pipes as well, which is kind of a bit rock and roll and also a little bit peaceful. So I feel like that would be the perfect fragrance for Kelly Jones. A lovely pint-sized rocker. So next up, Brain Farts Stink 2. Your most expensive perfume purchase regret. So I don't know if I quite regret it, but it wasn't a successful blind buy. And that is this one here. So it's Francesca Bianci's Cuir Soyeux. Now, as you can see, there's quite a bit missing. That's because I split the bottle. I bought the bottle and sold some decants from it just to counteract the cost. I can't remember how much it was. It was over £100 or around about £100 for the 30 mils you've got there. And I gave it quite a favourable review because I think it's a really interesting fragrance, and I do really like it once you get to a certain point when you're wearing it. The problem I have, now I sprayed this piece of paper about an hour ago now. Yeah, it's still not quite right for me. I have to wear it on skin for about 4 hours before I feel really comfortable with it. And that means I don't wear it because I'm not willing to wear it for 4 hours before I start to really love it. I think it's a strange combination of it's kind of like honey and leather. There is heliotrope in here, which I love, but it's I just find it a little bit sharp and kind of sickly, not in a generic girly fruity floral kind of way, not at all. It's a very unique fragrance. It's very well crafted. It's just not quite right for me. So unfortunately that wasn't a great blind buy. So that one was a blind buy regret. And that concludes the fragrances. So all that's left is to tag some people to do this video. So I'm going to tag Chris from the channel Fragmental. I'm also going to tag Lizzie from the channel Rose and Jones, and Scott from the channel Scenturian. If you didn't see Brenda's video, she's called Moody Boo, she did tag everyone that did the Robes 08 contest. So everyone that took part in the Robes 08 concert has already been tagged by Moody Boo. She also tagged Kristin from the channel Beauty Meow. So hopefully we'll see Kristin do it because I love her channel. But in the meantime, thank you Brenda for tagging me, and I will see you all in the next video.